Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha's Toldot. The question of the week is, how can we affect everlasting change? So in this week's Torah portion, chapter 26, verse 18, it speaks about Yitzchak's work with digging the wells. And the Torah tells us that the wells that Avraham Avinu dug, that the Plishtim went ahead and they stuffed up the wells, Yitzchak redug them, and he called them with the names, the same names that Avraham Avinu called them. But what's interesting, if you look into the verse, when it says that he called them names, Shemoi, so it's spelled Shin, Mem, Vav, and Saf. And when it says he called them like the names that Avraham Avinu called them, it says Shin, Mem, Saf. It's missing the letter Vav. So the question is, how come Yitzchak's wells, in the word Shemos, you have the letter Vav, and in the word of Shemos, the names for Avraham Avinu, you don't have the letter Vav? So the Rebbe explains, based on the Zohar says that give me a honest name, an honest letter. And the Zohar says, you want an honest letter? An honest letter is the letter of Vav. Vav represents honesty. What's the connection with Vav and honesty? So the Rebbe explains, we know that our work in this world, our spiritual avodah, is true work. Hard work, transformation, like Yitzchak. We know Yitzchak worked melmata l'mayla. He worked into this world. He elevated the world. Avraham Avinu, he brought in light to the world. It was great, it was amazing, but it didn't really impact the world. As the fact was, after he dug the wells, they were able to be stuffed up again. Versus Yitzchak with a true transformation. What's the connection with the letter Vav? So the Rebbe says we know all the work that we do in this world, the source is from the 42 travelings that the Jewish people traveled. Membeis Masais. What does Membeis, the 42 Masais, represent? So we know the real work is our 7 emotions. And to work with our 7 emotions, not just once, it's once, twice, 3 times, up until 6 times. And that's why 6 times doing the work times the 7 emotions equals 42, which is the 42 journeys of the Jewish people. So in other words, you want to have the true letter, you have to do it 6 times, and you have to do the work. And when you do the work, that's when the work will last forever. And that's why when it comes to Yitzchak's wells, you have the letter Vav. Because it came from real effort, and because it had real effort, it lasted forever. Avraham Avinu, he called them names, but they were lacking the Vav. They were lacking the personal effort. And that's why they didn't last. So the answer to the question, how can we affect everlasting change? By putting in the work, by putting in the effort, doing it once, twice, 3 times, up until 6 times, we will see everlasting change. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel bas Lipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah we're studying in their memory. For more information, please see our website, chabadswf.org. Have a great and blessed week. Shavua Tov.